give some examples of causal representation learning in computer vision, for example? What does that mean?
Yeah, something that has been happening in Valence Lab. So Valence Lab is part of Recursion, our company. It's one of the departments. And they've been working with causal representation learning for phenotypic imaging. You have cells, you take images of those cells before and after a specific perturbation, like changing a gene expression, knocking out the genes. You take the images after an intervention and before intervention, and then you try to see if you can come up with some causal representations. And the hope is those should better tell you about biology of that intervention. That is one example. The other older school example is not something I see paper getting into, but we had the famous example of wolves and dogs and snow in the background. If you have a causal representation learning, you should be able to easily detect that the snow doesn't matter. So traditionally, people try to do that with better modeling for separating, for example, wolves versus dogs. For example, if you're living in Toronto, all background of dogs would be a snow. And if you want to separate them, previously it was a matter of better modeling and interpretability in the models. But if you care about more generalizable kind of strategy, you can get into also causal representation learning. Again, it is early on in the field. It's not like language modeling with 30 years of history and all of a sudden, step by step, we got into large language models after transformers mainly. It's been a more recent topic.